So apologies for the lack of videos lately. I got my vaccination there this week, so I was not really feeling too great, and doing Earth Few Legends and for the last 2 weeks actually, and then Superman and Lois. I'm a day late on that review, and then Flash will probably be a day late as well. But Superman and Lois is actually on hiatus again now for 2 weeks because of the Olympics, so there's going to be another 2-week break, and then we'll have the final 2 episodes. This is honestly really annoying that they keep cutting the show up and going into breaks and all that. I mean, I know it's the CW and their weird schedule, it's nothing to do with the show itself, but I'm hoping for season 2 they can kind of have this show run more concisely or more, I guess, regular, because it is kind of annoying that the show keeps breaking up. But because of the Flash ending as well, Legends of Tomorrow is actually going to be our only Arrowverse show for a couple of weeks. So Superman Lois returns on August 10th, which is also around the time that Stargirl and Supergirl will be returning. I think Supergirl returns right after Superman and Lois ends, and then Stargirl will be running beside Superman and Lois for maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. But I'm sure the final 2 episodes are going to be great. But if you are not subscribed yet, please remember to do so if you can. I make Marvel and DC videos every single week, and subscribers really do help to keep the motivation up to make new videos. But this was by far the slowest episode of the season. It was the most character-focused episode of the season, I feel. And this is honestly a good thing. Like, it wasn't slow as in there was filler or was nothing happening. There were huge things happening, but it was all related to character moments and just dialogue moments even, which is kind of amazing that the show can handle that so well. Like, a great portion of this episode was just characters talking to each other, and us just getting into the characters' heads and their mind space and see where they are after the events of the last couple of weeks. And I think that was a really smart decision to do. I think the show is really doing this in a good way. It's just good to have this kind of very slower paced, character focused episode right before jumping into the final 2 episodes, because I'm sure the final 2 episodes are going to be insane and hectic in all the best ways. So it's really good to have these moments, because just for us as well, for character development reasons, like, it's going to really help us in the next couple episodes if there's a lot of action, to just kind of know exactly where the characters are at headspace wise and just development wise, which is really good. Tal-Rho has become the Eradicator, a Superman villain who has, I don't think, gotten his due at all outside of animated movies and outside of the comics. He's a big character in the Death and Return of Superman arc, and honestly, it's really cool to see him in this. I'm really interested to see if he's a villain that gets kind of taken care of in the final 2 episodes, we never see him again, or if he's going to be something that will be recurring or something that'll return later on down the line in a future season. But I'm really interested to see this. Honestly, I do think that the whole thing with Morgan Edge and Tal-Rho has been superbly well done. I don't think that there's been a single theory from the beginning of the season that people have gotten right about this character. Like, I don't think anybody guessed he was going to end up being the Eradicator. Like, at first everybody was like, alright, so Morgan Edge is Lois's villain for the season, while Captain Luthor is Superman's villain for the season. Then it was like, alright, I guess Captain Luthor is Steel, and I guess now Lois and Clark are teaming up against Morgan Edge because he's building an army of Kryptonians. Wait, Morgan Edge isn't actually Morgan Edge at all. Now he's Tal-Rho. And then I saw a lot of people say that maybe, like, this before we even knew he was Tal-Rho, we just knew he was Kryptonian. I saw so many theories about people thinking he was Zod, or he was a Zod, or was he like Hell from the comics, since that guy was related to Clark. And now it's just straight up the Eradicator. Like, it's been pretty bonkers how well they've played this and how well they've been able to keep the viewers and all of us off the tracks of what he is. I also think it's pretty confirmed at this point now that what happened is that all of the Kryptonian consciousness, or all of the people inside of the Eradicator, are now inside Morgan's head, or inside Tal-Rho's head, including Zeta-Rho and all of that. So it's been really good, honestly. I'm really enjoying how well they're handling that whole villain aspect. It's been one of the best aspects of the show, and it'll be interesting to see once the season ends where Tal-Rho is going to fall on, like, my list of Arrowverse villains or whatever. So I'm excited to see that. We also had some great flashbacks with him where he was kind of talking about how he found out that, you know, Kal-El was on this planet too. He was talking to Zeta-Rho and he was like, why didn't you tell me there was another Kryptonian here? How can I, you know, contact him? Can I contact him? Can I not just talk to him about it? Maybe he'll see things our way. I thought it was really good, and it went a long way to kind of paint Tal in not a full-on villain light, but more of a sympathetic light. Like, obviously he's still pretty terrible, but it was good to kind of get that tiny little glimpse that he actually really did want a Kryptonian brother, and that was really good as well. It's another kind of thing though where Kara has just completely disappeared from everything. Like, I feel like that's another place where a Kara name drop, or just him saying, you didn't tell me there were other Kryptonians here, or whatever, would have worked well. But Yeah, I just did like those flashbacks in general. I thought they were really good, and I thought it did a really good way of getting into Taro's headspace, his mind space, and show the development of him. Leslie Lara appeared in this episode again at the very beginning, and I think she got captured and she's in the DOD, so I wonder what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes with her. I'm assuming she's going to be broken out by the Eradicator or by Taro, or something's going to happen and she'll be back in the villainous limelight, so excited for that. This episode actually had a lot of focus on Lois. It had a lot of focus on the Smallville Gazette and Chrissy Beppo, and it also all tied into Sam and the DOD, and that was really good as well. Lois being a reporter was one of the best parts of the early episodes. Honestly, in some of the early episodes, Lois being a reporter and doing all of her stuff was something that I was liking just as much as the Superman stuff, and that was sort of the same here, where I was really interested in everything going on in that plotline and that storyline, and it was really good to see at the end where she was like, I can't write the story, I'm not objective enough, and that just showed how good of a reporter she is, that she's not going to write the story because she knows that she can't give kind of an unbiased opinion on it, and I really like that as well. We know that Chrissy's actress will be in season 2 as a regular, so we'll probably be seeing a lot more of her next season than we did this season, so I'm excited to see what they do with her character and where they go with that. Tegan returned, unfortunately, for a storyline with Jonathan. I'm really confused on what they're doing with her character, because I feel like her appearances in the earlier episodes weren't to set up for this. I feel like we're still setting up for a bigger storyline with her or something, so I gotta say though, I'm not crazy about this whole Jonathan Tegan stuff. If they are heading towards them being in like a relationship or whatever next season, I gotta say that I would rather they didn't do this. I would rather they get someone else for Jonathan, someone that's not horrible and just using Jonathan. And I just don't know, I'm not crazy about her character, mainly because she seems to be very kind of, I'm gonna use you to get what I want sort of thing. But she doesn't play it off in an evil way either. She plays it off in a nice way, and that makes it even worse. So, I don't know. I feel like I would probably have preferred if maybe she didn't make a return and we had somebody else introduced for Jonathan, somebody who's actually good and has best interest at heart. Because Jonathan feels like he's just the punching bag of the show, where everybody's getting their digs in on him and he's just taking them like a champ. But I think it's really time he gets a win. I feel like he's not getting near enough. I actually love the scene where when he went back to the Kent farm after skipping school, and Lois and Clark were arguing, and he just stops in the background, just like listens, and then Lois just goes, Jonathan, I can hear you, or whatever, and he like, get up the stairs. That was a really cool way to show like how Lois is a mother, how good of a mother she is, and like Jonathan being the kind of son who just kind of sticks around, tries to hear what his parents are saying. So I really enjoyed that bit as well. Jordan and Sarah got lots to do this episode. They got arrested, which was very surprising, and that led into the Kyle and Lana plotline of the episode, where they're trying to, get back into Smallville, and they're like, Smallville has been our home forever. We've put everything we have into this town, and now they've completely turned our backs on us, and the mayor being a complete dick, and Lana hearing him, and all of that sort of stuff. That was really interesting, and I'm actually really intrigued to see what they're doing with this. I honestly would not be surprised if this led to a storyline where Lana and Kyle leave Smallville and that's it. They're not really in the show anymore. Like, I could easily see the end of this season, Lana, Kyle, Sophie, and Sarah leaving. Sarah obviously will not want to because of Jordan, but her parents are kind of forcing her to, because they're like, Smallville doesn't have our back anymore. We've got to get out of here, sort of thing. And they move to maybe Metropolis, maybe a different city. And then we see them show up again down the road, like in a couple seasons time. I highly doubt they would write them out and just keep them out of the show completely. But I don't think they will be a big part of the show anymore. And I could really definitely see that, because, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be kind of hard to keep someone like Kyle especially involved in the storyline going forward, because this season it made sense that Kyle was like hugely involved with the Morgan Edge stuff and all of that, so it made perfect sense why he was a big part of the show. I don't really see how you could keep him tied in with all of that every single season and making it make sense and making it work. So I just, for that reason alone, I also wonder how long they can even stay on the show without them kind of feeling like they're not fitting in too much. I feel like maybe getting rid of Kyle, Lana, Sarah and Sophie and bringing in some new characters next season might work, but I still like these characters. I don't want to see them go. Me personally, I don't know how much they will work in future plot lines, so that's just kind of my feeling on it. There was a lot of great stuff with Clark and John Henry Irons. I love the scene at the beginning where they both went after Leslie Lar, and I loved how John saw it on his little beeping thing, and he just looked at Clark, and he could tell Clark already knew that she was coming in. He was like, where? And they got Leslie Lar, and then they gave each other a fist bump, and they're turning out to be one of my favorite duos in the Arrowverse. I'm absolutely loving their dynamic. I hope that John Henry Irons is sticking around on the show for a good long while, because he is great. He's one of the best parts. I also loved how he's getting to see the humanity of Clark, the human part. And honestly as well, I think that Clark giving John Henry Irons the key to 7734 so that he's the one person who can stop Superman is a good plan, is a great plan. And honestly, as well, it's just, I know that Lois, I could see where Lois was coming from in the argument that they should not be keeping those weapons around, mainly because Lois knows that they can hurt Jordan as well. I mean, because they did hurt Jordan, they almost killed Jordan because of the virus, and I completely see where she's coming from. But at the same time, I also strongly believe that they need to keep those around. In the Arrowverse, there has been so many times that a Kryptonian or an alien who is affected by kryptonite has attacked Earth, and it's not always Superman going evil. There's been other Kryptonians out there attacking the Earth before. Argo is still up there, so what if, I know, an evil Kryptonian from Argo escapes and attacks Earth? It's just very, very, very smart to have these weapons, to have a big stockpile of all of this stuff. Because again, yeah, in case Clark goes evil or in case Clark gets corrupted. But I just think, considering other Earths, considering Argo, considering so many different variables, it's just smart to have a stockpile of those weapons. And I think that Clark was very much right in this argument, but I also see where Lois was coming from. Yeah, just overall, it was definitely a slower paced episode. Pretty much the only really action we got was at the beginning with Clark and John Henry Irons going after Leslie, and even that wasn't a whole lot, but I think that they handled it very well. I think that this really, really well worked. It was a good transition episode, it was a good character focused episode, everything was still important, it wasn't filler at all, and I'm really excited to see where the final 2 episodes go. I just wish we didn't have to wait 2 or 3 weeks to see them. But how did you feel about the episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and all of that, and I hope you have a great day.